My name is Kate, and I work for Tableau. I'm going to talk about data catalogs, and Tableau catalogs specifically in this session. The name is Data Catalog Introduction and Overview, and the format will be like this. So the first half of the session, I'll talk about data catalogs, some history, overview, the problems that are out there and that data catalogs are meant to solve. And then the second half of the talk, I'll show you a live demo, so hopefully nothing happens during the live demo. Why am I here? Well, first of all, I have data analysis background. I worked for different companies in different roles, but all of those roles were related in one way or the other to data analysis and software development. So I've been a data analyst, I've been building SQL reports, I was product manager and product owner for a while. I love Tableau. So what is data analysis without visualizations? And I worked with multiple tools, and Tableau is, of course, my favorite one. I'm not a fan of data dictionaries in Excel. So for those of you who are not familiar with data dictionaries in Excel, if you don't have a data catalog tool, you'd probably try to document all your data in all your systems somewhere in a spreadsheet or on a wiki page, and then share it with your colleagues. So I'm not a fan of this. I moved from Belarus, and this is where the accent is coming from. I moved from Belarus to Texas in 2013, and I ended up in Seattle 3 years ago. So I'm from Seattle. What else I love? Well, mountains. Seattle is awesome for that. And Belarus is, by the way, super flat. So that was a great change of scenery. I love dogs. I love bouldering, photography, traveling. I play ice hockey, and I love sci-fi. So this is me and my husband hiking PCT. That's me in New Zealand, me in front of Grand Canyon posing there, and then running half marathon in Texas. And that's, of course, a picture of a medal in front of blue bonnets. OK, data catalogs, brief history. So let's talk about data catalogs. And let's go back about 7 years ago into 2013. So now imagine how data platforms, data catalogs looked back then. Not that manual, but pretty manual. There were a lot of buzzwords in 2013, like Hadoop, big data, data science probably, data platforms, and a lot of companies, especially big companies, were trying to build their own data platforms, preferably Hadoop-based big data platforms or data lakes. And because of because the technology wasn't that mature, and there was so much data, no best practices established, those would be data swamps. So a lot of data not well structured, not well documented, a mess. And back then, there were no good data catalogs in the market. But how would you document all the metadata in your data lakes or data swamps? Well, you would use manual Word and Excel data dictionaries. And as you can imagine, it's not the best approach. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and it's not easy to maintain. So what other problems happen if you have a system like I just described? So poor data discovery process. If you have a lot of data and you have this new data platform, no data catalogs, let's say you need to start a new project, and that's a data-related project. Like, how would you find the right data set? Well, you would probably go and talk to people, try to find someone in your in the address book in the company, or just rely on luck. Lack of impact understanding. So let's say you have your data project, and then you want to make some changes, like migration projects, or just change the definitions of some of the business attributes, drop a column. How can you understand what's going to break? Well, it's really hard, and you'll just be fingers crossed I'll go into my migration project. How to troubleshoot. If you don't know what's behind your data, how do you troubleshoot any potential problems? Or if anything looks suspicious, how can you know that those calculations are correct? If there's a data catalog in place, you can easily do this. If not, and remember that's 2013, well, that's going to be time-consuming and problematic. OK, so now, a day in life of a data platform product owner. And yeah, that was me on one of those products. So I was troubleshooting a lot. That was painful. I would talk to many people and spend a lot of time on figuring out what's wrong with my dashboard or what's wrong with some data pipeline, something like that. I would be talking to people to find the right data. So again, I have a new project. I need to do some data analysis. How do I know which system I should use? Production database A or production database A1? I have no idea. Maintaining manual data dictionaries. Yes, that's like the worst one. I had a 120 pages Word document and then 2 Excel documents with tens of sheets in there, which were describing all the columns and all the tables in my data platform. And it was really painful to maintain those. And then, with all that, we tried to build a data catalog. And we thought, well, how difficult can it be? It's like, well, we'll just build one. And as you can imagine, it didn't work out. Now, let's go to 2017. Data analysis, self-service, and catalogs. So that's not that long ago. There are some catalogs in the market. There's a lot of data, a lot of big data platforms, some processes in place, but it looks pretty chaotic, especially if you don't have a catalog, something like that. So long ago, like 2013, data governance was a really big thing, and you would have a very official data environment with a lot of processes in place. So people hated it, and people always find a way to get to the data and build their own sandboxes, their own data environments, vizzes. So we call this data self-service. Why is it great? Well, yes, it's fast. You get your own sandbox. You can build whatever you want and share it with your colleagues. You don't need to go to a data platform PM and ask them to add a backlog item that can be delivered maybe in 2 weeks or maybe in 2 months. It's flexible. Yeah, I can just easily make any changes. Innovative. Exactly. If I need some sort of analysis, figure out something really quick, I can do this in my sandbox environment, self-service analytics platform. And it's easy. However, there are some problems with self-service data analysis. So why is it not that great? Well, first of all, there's no transparency, and from different angles. So let's say I'm an end user who works with someone's dashboard, which was built on top of the sandbox data set. And I have no idea which calculations are there. I have no idea if I can trust the data. If there are some problems with the data and it looks suspicious, I don't know if it's like I'm out of business or there's some problems with the calculation or data refresh. And then problems with Lineage. Again, I cannot trace back to the source of truth, or if I'm the author of this dashboard or a data set, I don't know who depends on my data. So if I'm going to make some changes or migration projects, I'll just go ahead and do them and migrate my tables, and then a lot of my colleagues will be unhappy. They will come back to me and ask me what happened with their dashboards. Does it sound familiar to anyone? And low trust in the data. Of course, with all those problems, no one wants to use the system. They cannot trust the data. And yeah, I wouldn't want to use the data that has a lot of data quality issues, and I cannot trust it. Now, A day in life of a data platform PM. And again, that was me, as you probably can guess. I was doing a lot of migration projects in the self-service environment with some governed environment. It was really painful, and a lot of users worked with stale dashboards, or they just didn't know about the migration project because the communications weren't efficient and they didn't receive those emails, or I didn't talk to them in person about the migration projects. Troubleshooting. Yes, you need to deal with some complaints of your colleagues about the problems with the data. And again, there's no central place that describes all your sandbox environments, and it's close to impossible to find what exactly is wrong. I was maintaining data dictionaries, wiki pages, and Excel documents. And as part of data platform team, we decided to look for a good data catalog, because, well, that's like 2 or 3 years ago. There were some catalogs in the market, and pretty cool ones. But once we started to look into them, it turned out that, well, there's some integration that needs to happen. And it's not quick. It's like maybe several months or several weeks in the best case scenario. And when I talked to someone in my company in a different org who already used this data catalog, apparently not all the features were present there, and well, there would be some scripting in place, so a lot of integration effort. Okay, so I decided, well, maybe I should join a team, a company, who would build a really awesome data catalog, and I became a product manager for Tableau catalog. How can a good data catalog help? You already heard about some of the problems, and I think a lot of them sound familiar to you. So let's go through them. Curate and document. Yes, a good catalog should have some capabilities for curation and documentation of the metadata. Improving trust. If it's well documented, the trust is there, and then if you can see what's behind your dashboard, again, you can trust the data. Perform impact analysis. Well, this is really helpful for data admins or data stewards who are in charge of those data sources, tables, and dashboards. I can analyze what's going to break if I'm going to make some changes. Help with troubleshooting. Help with data discovery. And then the last but not least is integration. Yes, ideally, my catalog should be well integratable with other systems, and then if I spend some time on manual data dictionaries in Excel, I should be able to import them automatically. Now, let's drill down. So curate your data. I would love to add descriptions if I'm working with a good data catalog. I would like to set contact. So if we know who is in charge of some data set or a dashboard or a table, then you can go and talk to them. Certification and anti-certification or data quality warnings. Well, those are really important because they help with trust in your data. So these are the bullet points that cover the trust. If there are any problems with my data, with my calculation, and someone curated this data set for me and set a data quality warning, I know that there's something happening and I should not panic because my business metrics just don't make any sense, or I think that, well, I'm losing money. No, there can be problems with data ETLs and pipelines, and if there's a warning set on a column or on a table, I'll see this and I'll come down. And then, yeah, understand the calculations, see the source of your data. That's also great for helping with trusting the data. Understand the impact. Yeah, if I have a migration project, or if I want to deprecate something, I want to see which content depends on my data. So if I'm going to drop a column, I want to know who to inform about this change and what's going to break. Now, data discovery, that's also very important. I want to find the new data to work with. I don't want to go and talk to people to figure out what's the right data set. So the good data catalog should have this capability. And then if someone added those certifications, data quality warnings, when they search for this content, I should be able to see which table or which data source to trust. Reuse your work. Again, as I've said, I want to import my data dictionary. I don't want to do this work again. I don't want to go column by column and add those descriptions or tags or any other metadata. And then integrate with external systems. Well, yeah, we know there's not just one catalog out there in the market, or you might have some awesome alerting system which are really advanced. So yes, I want this integration piece, and it should work really smooth. I don't want to spend a lot of time on learning how to integrate. Great, so now let's do live demo of Tableau catalog. So what you're looking at is DataCat demo server. That's 19.3 version of Tableau server, which was released like about 2 months ago. And here's a new tab called External Assets. And that's the landing page for Tableau catalog. So it's not a separate tool. You don't need to install it. It's right here. The cool part about this is you don't need to spend a lot of time and effort on integrating this tool into Tableau server. So if you have data management add-on, your admin can just check one checkbox, and this page appears here, and everything works out of the box magically. So let's take a look at what's here. Databases and files and tables. I can switch between them. So let's talk about how this thing works. How is it different from data sources, published data sources, workbooks, or other Tableau content? So Tableau catalog knows about databases and files and tables through the connections that Tableau content establishes. So once I create a published data source and I publish it to Tableau server, the connection to a table and database automatically gets into Tableau catalog and will appear right here. You can manage permissions. If you don't want other users to see those tables and databases, you can easily do this. But you can also make sure that, well, they see everything here. OK, so let's take a look at one example of a database that got into my Tableau catalog. It's called Global Superstore Star Schema. It's a long name, but we love this database, and we use it for demos a lot. So first of all, I see that Zahira is the contact for this database, and there's a lot of workbooks and data sources connected. There's another one which is probably, I don't know what's happening here, but well, it's not certified. Like this one, this green checkbox here is a certification mark, and the other one doesn't have a certification. And then I see how many workbooks and data sources are connected to my database. So if I click through, I get to the new place page, and that's a place page for this database. So again, let's take a look at what's happening. Well, this is the certification. And then if I mouse over here, I see it's certified by Zahira. And then it says something there. Well, OK, I'm not going to zoom, but that's a certification node, essentially. And then, yes, that's the contact. So if I don't have credentials to this database, or I just have some general questions, I can go talk to her or to whoever the contact is. I see some information about the database, and then there's a description. I'm an admin on this site, so I can add a description. Well, I'll leave it like this. It says it's the best, so I'm not going to argue with that. I can also change the contact, change permission, edit certification, and set a data quality warning. And I'll show you the data quality warning a little bit later today. Now, let's look at these tables here. So these are all the tables that my Tableau catalog knows about. These tables are in this database. Let's click on one of them. Dim customer. OK, here are the columns. I can click on the column, and I see the column details card. It tells me which fields use this column, and then if I click through, I get to the field card of a field in a workbook. OK, I'm going to go back. And then it says that this column is also used by flows. By the way, if you use Prep Builder for cleaning your data, and then you publish the prep flow to the server, and it runs, it appears in the lineage automatically. So here's the flow, and it's right there. You can analyze your impact. So talking about impact, this is the Lineage tool, which shows me all the downstream and upstream assets of my anchored asset. So in this example, there's no upstream lineage because this database is the top level my catalog knows about. So if we look at the downstream lineage, I see one flow. And by the way, it's interactive. The Lineage tool is interactive. I can click on each of the nodes. So I see all the data sources that depend on this database, all the workbooks, all the sheets, and then the owners of this content. Let's pick dim date table. And let's do this. I'm going to add a description. I'm going to say TC19, and I'll save it. So now, see, there's the description. And you can do this manually. Yes, you can go through all the descriptions and add them or change them. But you can also use the REST API that we have to import the data dictionaries. So here's this integration portion. If you already spent some time on documenting your metadata, or you have some external systems, you can use the REST API that we have and ingest the descriptions of the columns, the description of the table, the content, the contact, data quality warning, certification. So all of those features, they are writable through the APIs. All right, so now let's talk about impact analysis. I have an example to walk you through. So let's say I have a table called dimension product or dim product. And my project is to migrate this table from one system to another. And also maybe drop a column. Let's also drop a column. So how do I know who's going to be affected? How do I know which Tableau data sources and workbooks will break? All right, so let's search for product. And I see some search results. There are different tabs per content type. So I was looking for a table called dim product. And I see two of them. I'll zoom in. OK, so what's happening? Well, the second dim product doesn't have a lot of content connected to that. It also has an exclamation mark. And it says this table is deprecated. And it was set by, well, workgroup user. That's an admin account on the site. And it tells me when. And then it gives me some information. Use the certified version of dim product. OK, that's cool. I'm going to do just that. So I'm now on a dim product place page. I think you can see that. So it tells me who the contact is. It was certified by me. Yes, I certified it for the demo purposes, and I added some descriptions. And then let's look at the lineage to understand the impact of me migrating this table. So now you can see that this table is not the top level. That's a table that is coming from one database. That's the database on top. And then I can click on each of the nodes, data sources, workbooks, sheets, and owners. Maybe I can take a look at what's happening here. What is this data source? So I just opened the data source that's using my table. So this data source will break. And I shouldn't have been zooming in and out. So I'll just do this. Here are all the columns in this data source. Here are all the descriptions. So you can see this data source is pretty well curated. So when someone was publishing this data source during the authoring, they added the descriptions. And then again, I can click on each of those columns. And it tells me connected DIM customer. Well, let me go back. Cool, now I'm on DIM customer table place page. And again, it's the same concept. I see the lineage, I see what depends on this table right here, and I can click on each of the nodes to see what exactly is happening. Here's a prep flow, by the way. Someone cleaned the data, published the prep flow, and now it's in my lineage. I can see where it's coming from. It's using 4 tables as inputs, and they're coming from one database. So if I look at this, I can see that, well, probably I can trust this flow and the data source that's produced by this flow because this database is certified. And there are some tables. Well, some of them have data quality problems. All right, so let's go back to the migration example. I can copy all the URLs here. So these are the workbooks. These are the sheets. So I'm going to the owner's place page. I'm going to select all of them. And I can send an email right here from my Tableau site. And maybe I'll paste the URL to the list of data sources that will break. So what's happening? I'm communicating the migration project to a very targeted audience. So with the Lineage tool, I can see a group of people who will be directly affected by the changes in DIM product table. I'm not going to send the email to Francois here, but you got the point. All right. So now, let's take a look at another scenario. Again, it's impact analysis. So I want to analyze what's going to happen if I'm about to drop a single column. What's the impact of that? So I select a column, and my lineage updates. So basically, I can analyze the impact at a very granular level. I can pick one field or one column and see which content exactly depends on this column. So again, 3 data sources. Now it's 4 workbooks, so the number here changed. And then only 10 sheets. And then just 3 owners. Again, I'm not going to send an email, but I could. So now let's imagine another situation. And I will be playing the role of a data steward who works with this DIM product table. I work with data engineers who build the data pipeline that produces DIM products. And this table refreshes, let's say, on a daily basis. So the data in this table is fresh and is used by 24 sheets for some sort of analysis. So we all know that there are some problems with the data pipelines from time to time. Like, things happen. So let's say my ETL failed, and DIM product wasn't refreshed overnight. So now the data is stale. Well, what's wrong with that? Well, your reports won't have the right data, and the business decisions that you want to make based on those reports, they won't be accurate. So that's a problem. So what can I do? Well, I can do the impact analysis, go find the owners of the content and send them an email. But what about viewers or other users who did not create the content? They just look at the dashboards. So here's the thing. I can use data quality warning feature, and I'm going to enable this warning here. So today we have 4 statuses: warning, deprecated, stale data, and under maintenance. I'm going to pick stale data, and I'll just say test TC and hit save. All right, so I'm going to close the notification message. And the warning appeared right here in the masthead of my Dim product table. So it says stale data, and it says on which table, set by whom, when, and then it gives me the message that I just typed in. So that's great for those who will go to this place page, learn about the table, and then want to use it for analysis. Now they can maybe wait a couple of days or just proceed being informed. Well, I talked about viewers. Well, first of all, let's go to the vizzes here, and I'm going to open monthly sales. Let's imagine that's a very important dashboard. All right, data details. That's a new feature of Tableau Catalog. So when you open the data details, you see a lot of helpful metadata about the viz, which workbook it comes from, who the author is. Let's say there's a bunch of sheets with the same name, and they come from different workbooks. Let's say monthly sales metrics and then draft monthly sales don't use. You can see if that's the second one, and we'll probably go and use the other sheet. And then data sources, data quality warnings. So what happened was I set the warning on the upstream asset, and it got automatically copied all the way downstream to each of the nodes. So if I go back and click on data sources, on workbooks, I'm going to see this warning everywhere. And for a viewer who just wants to look at this viz every month or every week, I can see that there's a problem. So you might be wondering why there are 3 warnings. So this one, Dim product, test TC, I just created it like several minutes ago. But there's one more, stale data on fact orders. OK, so there's another upstream table this viz depends on, and it's called fact orders. And it has stale data, and there's some information here, a long message. There's another one, warning, and it doesn't say anything. But again, that's coming from an upstream data source. So you can set a warning on a database, on a table, on a data source, and on a flow. And then it will get propagated all the way downstream. Cool. So I'll go back, and I'll just remove the warning. All right, monthly sales. And now I see only 2 warnings here, so I just, the ETL is working again, and the data is fresh in Dim product, not in fact orders. So let's pick another one. Let's go to a workbook. Let's pick a popular monthly sales metrics. And I go to the Lineage tab. So that's the new tab coming with Tableau Catalog. And I can see where the data is really coming from. So there's one data source. It's certified, the green checkbox right here. 6 tables, and 1 database. And I can go and learn something about Dim date, which doesn't have anything but the description I just added. So again, you can analyze the upstream and the downstream dependencies of your asset. You can start from any point in the lineage and see what's going to happen if you're about to make any changes, or to make sure that you're using the right content there, like the right viz or the right data source. You want to see where the data is coming from. And you can just do this with the Lineage tool on my Tableau server here. So one other thing, I talked about data discovery a lot. And you already saw how I searched for the table name, and I got a lot of results back. Well, let's do this. Let's search for TC19. OK, there's a table. So I was able to find something by a column description. So you don't need to know the exact name of a table or a database to find them. You can just search by really granular attributes. And that's great for someone who is working with a new type of analysis, with new data, they've never worked with those data sets before, you can just know some keywords and you can find the results here. So there's another example. Again, so there's a description, says apples, to a very relevant column in an interesting table called glacier import. All right, well, data discovery does not stop there with like just searching for things. If you create a new workbook, you get to this connect to data new dialog that was rebuilt with data catalog. So first of all, with data sources, you see that there are some certification marks and data quality warnings in the grid. You can switch between databases and files and tables and find what you want to connect to right here in this connect to data dialog. So again, you don't need to go talk to people, go look through data dictionaries. If your tables, databases are pre-curated, and even if they're not, even if they don't have description, you can still find them by the names in the connect to data dialog. The same experience is now available in Tableau Desktop. So if you want to search for something, the connect to data dialog looks very similar to Web Authoring 1, and it's the same mechanism. So to prove the point, let's do GC19. See, that's the table that we remember from the other example. So that's the same search mechanism. You can search by a column description or by a column name when you're connecting to data and building something new. OK, so now, the last but not least, I want to talk a little bit about the integration portion. And I already briefly mentioned the REST API. So yes, we know that it's not the first day there are data platforms and data catalogs out there in the market. I do believe that Tableau catalog, which is part of your Tableau server, is really great. But if you already have something else and you just want to ingest the data, the metadata into Tableau catalog, you can use the REST API. So you can write some simple Python script and import your data dictionary, column descriptions, table descriptions, all other useful attributes. Or you can hook up the data quality warnings to your alerting systems. And again, ingest those into Tableau catalog so that data quality warnings become automated. It's up to you. Now, metadata. That's the read API. And there are a lot of sessions that cover metadata API in this conference. So I'll just talk about this for a minute here. Tableau Catalog is a project that was built on top of the API, GraphQL API. And what you can do with this metadata graphical interface, you can search for different objects in the graph. So let's do this. OK, let's do the right one. Cool. That's not really helpful. Let's do the name. So I see all the databases on my Tableau site and all their names. And that's just like 3 lines of code, or three words, 4 words. It's really powerful. You can query for multiple things. And GraphQL, so the API, is like one step ahead of the UI. If you're a power user and you just want to query for different relationships for everything that's there, like custom SQL tables, we do have them. So you can explore what's in the documentation, which objects we have, and you can query for your custom SQL tables that live on your Tableau site. Or you can query for, let's say, downstream sheets. Name. So what I'm looking at is a list of all the databases and their names, and the downstream sheets and their names that are on my Tableau site. OK, so that's the end of the live demo. Nothing broke. I'm going back to my awesome deck here. And I have 2 more slides. So you probably noticed I talked about what we delivered in 19.3. That was like several months ago. 19.4 has some minor changes, like performance improvements, but I did not talk about the future, the roadmap. Well, I'm not allowed to. But we have Tableau Showcase at Data Village, where one of the topics is enriching the Tableau catalog. So you can go and sign up for an appointment. We still have several openings tomorrow and on Friday. And you can provide your feedback on the future stuff that we're exploring. So be part of the development of the Tableau catalog. And then the last but not least, thank you for coming here today. It was a pleasure to talking to you.